My eyes are a little bit a little bit red from sleeping. Anyway, I hope you guys are doing well. I want to say welcome to drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent Black people. This is a place where we have intelligent Black conversations about important Black issues. And today I had a really interesting topic that came across my desk that I thought was worth discussing. It has to do with an NBA player or an NBA prospect, an extraordinarily good player who has decided to give the middle finger to the NCAA and actually go make big money in Australia. His brother, his name is RJ Hampton, and it looks like RJ is smart. He's smarter than a lot of the other guys in his position. In fact, his parents are both highly educated people. I think they both have master's degrees, and RJ is intelligent enough to say, man, why am I doing all the work and y'all making all the money? What's going on with that? Anyway, let me just say good morning to everybody. I see DDS and Verniel and some of the usual suspects, suspicious Black people, Black identity extremists. That's what they call us, Black identity extremists, because we have the audacity to be intelligent and Black. I see Michael, Elevation Allah, Linda Dukes, Alicia, Susan, Alan, Michael Davis. How you doing? Good morning, John Doe. Good morning, everybody. Shout out your city. Shout out your city. And also, I'm going to send a text notification to the rest of the family to let them know that the party has begun. So if you'd like to get a text notification whenever we go live, please text the word Boyce, Boyce, just like my name, to 31996. Text Boyce to 31996. And also, if you actually want if you want to get notified when we cover topics on the Black Financial Channel, which is theblackfinancialchannel.com, you can actually text the word Black Wealth to 31996. Don't text it as two words, though. Text it as one word. Black Wealth as one word. Text Black Wealth as one word to the same number, 31996, and I'll notify you when we cover purely financial topics. Okay, so let me send out the notification to everybody real quick. And hit the thumbs up button while I do that. Please hit the thumbs up button, or you can get on the text list while I do this. Give me 1 second here. Okay. So, first of all, I want to I want to just sort of acknowledge the cities that let's see. I see Atlanta. Jamon says, "Love your show." Thank you, man. I love you too. I appreciate you very much. Or I guess I don't know for sure if Jamon is a he or she name. I apologize for getting that wrong. T from Atlanta. I see Virginia Beach, Brooklyn. I'm actually going to be in New York this week. London. David came from London. Black London's always in the building. Let me see. Colleen, Texas. Houston, Texas. Raleigh, North Carolina. Florida. Huntsville. Minneapolis. Let's see, Ann Arbor, Charlotte, North Carolina, Pittsburgh, Palm Beach, Charleston. It's great to see everybody. Now, here's the thing. There is just this week, I was texting back and forth a little bit with Charlemagne, the guy from the Breakfast Club, about some, just sort of letting him and T.I. know that I support what they're doing in terms of boosting opportunities for Black people, throughout, every hood in America by basically, pushing for Black ownership, in urban communities, right? Now, why does that matter? Why is that relevant to this conversation about this brother who's going to play basketball? Well, it's relevant because, the reason I felt that it was important to support what T.I. and Charlemagne were doing is because, make no mistake about it, I saw their initiative really as an initiative to save the Black male in America, to save the Black male in this country. Why does the Black male need to be saved by Black men, not by everybody else? Not, you don't tell a Black man that he needs a white man in order to save him, because if that's the case, you might as well cut his balls off right there. The Black man can never be a man if he feels that he can only be saved by a white man. That's just real. That's just real. I mean, the same man who beat you, raped you, took your woman right in front of you, enslaved you, treated you like a little boy, killed your leaders, those same people, you need to beg those same people to come and save you. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You don't do that. You just don't do that. It doesn't make any sense, right? And so the black man is being saved by the black man. And I saw, and the reason that's important is because we need our men to be strong economically and otherwise in order for our community to be strong. You can't, the black community will not rise without the black man. I'm sorry. And don't stop acting like we can just, build families with a bunch of masculine women and lesbians. Like I know that's the fantasy they feed y'all, but that ain't real. And no disrespect to any other group of people, but you need the black man. Stop acting like you don't need the black man. Because I'll never act like I don't need the black woman. Because I know I need the black woman. Ain't nobody ever gave me an illusion about that. But there are people out here that will feed you an illusion to tell you that you don't need the black man. And so anyway, here's the deal. So when I look at what T.I. and Charlemagne are doing to rejuvenate ownership and the pride of ownership for the black male and for other groups of people in black communities, and women are included in this as well. Black women are creating businesses at a rate that exceeds everybody else, by the way. We covered that data on drvoicetv.com. I look at the NCAA as an area where there is sadness, yet tremendous opportunity to get a big chunk of what's owed to us. The NCAA needs to pay reparations to black people for all the billions they done took out of black communities. The NCAA takes at least $1 billion a year out of black communities, probably more. They've been doing this for 50, 60, 70 years. And it's affecting families in a real way. There are black families where your son is off playing at the University of white people, and they got your son out there looking like a slave because he's out there bringing in millions of dollars, but yet he's scared that they're gonna find out that somebody gave him a free candy bar, right? Or that somebody gave him $10 for an autograph. He's scared, looking like a buck slave, like a big-eyed buck, scared to death. That massa gonna find out that he got free lunch, right? That somebody got him a pair of socks, right? He's scared to death while he got a white man next to him. Most of these coaches making these millions of dollars are white. Most of these administrators are white, right? Because they don't want your son after he gets done playing sports. They want him. They want him to be a slave. They want to make money from him, but they don't necessarily want to get money together. So this kid who is scared to death, who's got a mama at home in the projects, got siblings at home, can't eat, right? He's sitting next to a coach. Coach is typically white. Administrators are typically white. Who's literally living in a mansion, who got a free private jet from the university so he could fly his little blonde hair, blue-eyed children all around the country for nothing. They gave him a yacht as a perk. He's making $1 million a month, but he can't make that money without your son providing free labor. Yes or no? Give me a yes or no. Yes or no. Does that sound fair to you? Tell me if that sounds fair. Tell me if that sounds fair. Give me a yes or no. Please don't say no, because I would just hate to slap you. I don't want to slap nobody today. Give me 1 second here. Okay, thank you. Somebody said yes, that is true. Okay, I thought you said yes, it's fair. I was like, I'm in one of those moods today. Y'all got to forgive me. I'm flying out of the city tomorrow, or in a couple of days actually. I guess it's the day after tomorrow. I lose track of the days. But every time I start talking about the NCAA, I start to get real pissed off. I start really having an issue. I start having an issue with the fact that we don't have an issue with what they're doing to the black community. I have a problem with the fact that we don't have a problem. I'm concerned that we're not concerned. I'm worried that some of us are falling for the lie. The lie is that, oh, well, they're getting a free education, so that's a fair trade. No, it's not. No, it's not. Anybody else read books like Powernomics? If you read books like Powernomics, what you probably know about is this concept called the doctrine of unequal exchange. The doctrine of unequal exchange basically says this. It's basically the blueprint for how black people have been getting economically raped for the last 600 years. The doctrine of unequal exchange is where, let me see if I can find it in the book. It is where you are giving other people something of value, and they're giving you something back of significantly less value. I'm trying to see if I can find in the appendix. I can't find in the appendix. I have to look it up. But basically, this was done to the Africans. The Europeans did this with the Africans. And that's why Africa is the richest country in the world, but can't pay the damn light bill. Africa got the most resources on earth, but insane amounts of poverty, ridiculous amounts of poverty. I went to Nigeria. I felt guilty riding through those streets. It was terrible to see so many of my people struggling. You know, it's terrible. So the doctrine of unequal exchange still applies to this day. You know, the doctrine of unequal exchange still applies now in the United States. They go to your hood, they give you a pair of sneakers, you give them $200. So you got, you know, they got $200 that they can put into a bank account and invest. You got, you know, some plastic like on your feet, right? That makes you feel fly, right? You got something that makes you feel like you looking good. You go and buy a new car because maybe you're not financially intelligent, and so they give you this fancy new car. You get to look good in front of your friends, but they got you locked into the payment trap, which is going to zap away your wealth. They pull it on us, college educated Negroes. We go to these universities. You get a 4 years of college and a piece of paper that might get you a job making, you know, a little bit more than you would have made with a high school diploma. Not more than a plumber, not more than an electrician, but enough to make you feel like you're doing okay, that you can afford your new car. And they put you $100,000 in debt and zap your family wealth. So in light of how all these mechanisms work, it's not surprising that there's a massive racial wealth gap in America. There's no surprise. Why would you expect? It's like if you play in a basketball game and the Golden State Warriors are playing against the local high school team, and the Warriors are scoring 8 times for every 1 time the high school team is scoring, then there's going to be a gap in the score. One team is going to be getting its ass kicked. So team black people in the game of powernomics, we're getting our ass kicked. And the NCAA is one of those mechanisms that allows this to happen. Hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up button. Very important. Also, don't forget this podcast is on iTunes and SoundCloud. So if you want to listen on your way to work or whatever it is, on your way to the plantation, feel free to go to SoundCloud or iTunes and download the app, and you can find me on there. His name is R.J. Hampton. He's the number 5 prospect in the ESPN class, or ESPN 100 class of 2019. He signed a contract with the New Zealand Breakers of the Australian National Basketball League. He becomes the first American player to willingly forego college for playing international basketball, unlike other players like Brandon Jennings and a few others who signed overseas because they didn't have the grades or there were issues with their amateur status. He says, my number 1 goal is to play in the NBA. I wanted to be an NBA player before I ever wanted to be a college player. This is about getting ready for the next level faster and more efficiently. Both of my parents went to college. My mom got her master's degree. Education's a big thing in our family. But this is about focusing 100% on basketball. You can always go back to college, but there's only a short window where an athlete, where you can play professional basketball. And I want to take advantage of that. I think that challenging yourself on a daily basis is the best way to improve. RJ, give him a digital round of applause. You get an award for you get the Intelligent Black Man Award because this is not a situation where he's like, oh, I'm desperate for money, or oh, I don't care about education. He values education. In fact, he doesn't just value education. He actually understands what it means to have knowledge. Knowledge and education ain't always the same thing. Education comes out of a system. Knowledge comes from the world, right? So this young man has enough knowledge to understand, like, wait a minute, y'all playing me with this whole like I'm gonna give you a year in college in exchange for millions of dollars. Let me break this down for you. I actually took some notes. I want to just make sure we cover how bad the fuckery is, how badly you're being fucked by the NCAA, and the reason it's important is because I know this system. I've seen the financial rape up close. I'm not like just some guy who's sitting there complaining about what the NCAA is doing. I was a college. I've taught on several university campuses over the last 25 years. I have my doctorate's in finance, so I know how to see the money, the flow of the money in ways other people can't see it. Right. It's like a different level of understanding, and it's very infuriating because it's like having a magic X-ray vision where you can, let's say somebody has cancer or they got a disease, and you can see inside the body and you can see the disease flowing through their veins, and then they tell you, no, I'm healthy, I ain't got no. And you're like, no, I'm looking in the X-ray and I see that you're dying. Like this is gonna kill you. You got cancer in your ass. Like this is gonna kill you. And they're like, no, I'm fine, I'm healthy. That's what it's like. Analyzing the NCAA from my perspective. I see the exploitation at a level that is different from everyone else because because of three things. One, my expertise is in finance, so I understand the money. I mentioned that. Two, as a college professor at major universities that have major sports teams, I have tutored the athletes. I have been next to I've fought with the coaches about them taking a student out of my class for 2 weeks at a time because he's got to get ready for the championship game. I've seen all that up close. And then three, as a black man, I've been in the hoods. I've seen the economic devastation in our community that occurs due to economic neglect. I have a heart for the fact that 45% of all the black males in Southside Chicago between the ages of 20 and 24 don't have jobs and are not in school. Because I am a black man. So it's a different level of empathy and connection to this issue. And so here's what I'm gonna say about the NCAA real quick. And the schools I taught at, University of Kentucky, Indiana University, Syracuse University, the Ohio State University. Those are the 4 schools that I've been associated with that have big sports programs. And at every single institution, I saw examples of black men being used and milked by this system. The financial side, let's talk about the money real quick. Black people, if you ever want to have money, you got to talk about the money. If you want to have money, you got to know where the money's at. If you have, and also about money, you got to fight for the money. The NCAA, I think their current television contract is worth about $10.8 billion. That's how much they sold the TV rights for. Last year, March Madness made about $1.3 billion, which is second only to the postseason for the National Football League. So the NFL has to pay millions of dollars. They've got quarterbacks and other players that have $100 million contracts and all this other insanity, right? Because they're smart enough to say, wait, you're making billions of dollars off of us. You got to give us a piece of that money. The NCAA does not have to pay its workers. The NCAA it pays the people at the top, but it doesn't pay the people at the bottom. It pays the administrators and the coaches and everybody else, but the athletes do not get paid. I did a CBS special in 2006, I think, something like that, where the question was, should college athletes be paid? And I did not understand why they were calling me and asking me to participate in a special like that. I said, people like me, you're not supposed to even want to talk to people like me because I see through your bullshit. Like, why would you even call me? Because they called my office. They asked me to be. They're like, well, Dr. Watkins, we'd like to do a special on why should college athletes get paid. And I just asked the producer, I was like, this doesn't even make any sense. If I were you, why would you want anybody to like look at that's like R. Kelly saying, I want you to come in my house and do a thorough investigation and go through my porn closet and I want you to just look through every single videotape to see if I got any little girls in it. Like it doesn't make any sense. I was like, why would you do that? I figured out why. So I did the interview, right? And I was talking and I was saying, explaining, and I was like, well, of course. I mean, shouldn't every American be compensated for their labor? Why are you violating their labor rights? Why are you allowing the NCAA to get away with antitrust violations? Why are you allowing the NCAA to do things in their industry that you can't do in any other industry? You can't restrict competition in that same way. Like the NCAA punishes athletes who simply want to switch schools. Like, you can't do that. Like, if I own Walmart, I can't tell the Walmart employees, if you go work at Target, then I'm going to tell Target to not hire you. You know, like you can't do that. Like that's anti-competitive behavior. Well, here's what the deal was. I realized, oh, I get it. It was a propaganda piece. It was propaganda because they knew the answer to that question before they even did the series. They knew the answer that they needed to give. They knew it's almost like you do a math equation and you know what the answer has to be. So the right-hand side of the equation is the result. The left-hand side is x plus y times z to the third divided by q, right? So what happens is if you want, and I'm a mathematician, you guys know this, right? So as a mathematician, here's the thing about math that's really interesting is that you can decide in advance what you need the right side of the equation to be. You can decide in advance what the answer is going to be. And all you got to do is go to the left side of the equation and shift around the variables. All you got to do is go and pre-select what you need each variable to be for you to get the answer that you're looking for. So the Democrats, for example, when the Democrats talk about Republicans, no matter what the fuck they say, no matter what comes out of their mouth, they're not seeking truth, right? Their goal is like x plus y plus z to the third power means Republicans are bad, Democrats are good, right? When the Republicans talk about the Democrats, it's the same thing. They know the conclusion. The conclusion is going to be Republicans are good, Democrats are bad. So it doesn't matter. If they're talking about the environment, they'll angle the variables and angle the argument so that they come to the conclusion they're looking for. Republicans good, Democrats bad, right? They're talking about women's rights. Republicans good, Democrats bad, right? So ultimately, it's all a bunch of BS. It's all a bunch of nonsense. So I was actually kind of surprised that CBS Sports was going to that length to defend this nonsense, and I believe it's because even they know that this is wrong. Even the people in the NCAA know this. Walter Byers, who used to be the executive director of the NCAA, who defended this nonsense for years, as soon as he retired, wrote an entire book saying, athletes should be paid. Even the person who was in the belly of the beast, the head of the whole economic machine, came out and said, of course they should be paid. Like, it's not even a debate. It used to be a debate where I'd have to go on CNN and debate somebody. The NCAA would never debate me, or they wouldn't debate people like me because they knew smart people could see right through the nonsense. But I would go and have to debate people on this issue. But now there's not a debate anymore. Now they just avoid the conversation. Again, I bring R. Kelly in, or let's say you ask Oprah, explain why you went after Michael Jackson, but you didn't go after Harvey Weinstein. Oprah ain't gonna try to have that debate with you because Oprah knows she can't win. So Oprah will respond to you with silence. Oprah will ignore. Like Oprah, if you're watching, I challenge you to a debate. I want you to come on this channel. I can come on yours, and I want you to debate me about why you went out of your way to go take down Michael Jackson, but had nothing to say about Harvey Weinstein. Like I really need to. I want to have that debate with you, and so you can come in and we'll have that debate. Oprah ain't gonna have that debate because she doesn't have to have it, right? And she doesn't want to have it, right? She can't have that debate because you can't defend a lie. You can't defend a lie. The truth defends itself. The truth defends itself. So the NCAA does not debate that issue because they know that what they're doing is wrong. They know that what they're doing is corrupt and evil. But again, as I explained to you guys about capitalism, this is why I don't want you to use terms like black capitalism. When you talk about economic empowerment for the community, we need to use terms like powernomics, black economic empowerment, black free enterprise. Use whatever term you want, but don't use a term like black capitalism because capitalism is a system in itself, and systems tend to have take a life of their own. Systems get to the point where it doesn't matter what the individuals in the system really want to do half the time. The system will eventually just say, well, if you don't want to go along with the program, then I'm gonna boot you out. So if I go to the NCAA and I go in and I say, hey, I want to change the system and I want to make sure the athletes get paid, good luck with that. You're going to have a whole lot of power to tangle with a system that is built on exploitation of other human beings. Do me a favor, please hit the thumbs up button. If you haven't done that, please hit the thumbs up button. Also, some of you are black men, and I want you guys to know I was talking to a brother named King Pupa on the channel yesterday, and we were talking about the fact that black men need to support each other and come together and unify and build each other up educationally, economically, and otherwise, and form partnerships, things like that. So we have an organization I created with Andre C. Hatchett called Black Men United. So if you are a brother, it's brothers only, brothers only, brothers only. Go to blackmenunited.net. That's blackmenunited.net, and you can join the organization. Also, I want to mention to you guys that my book, Black American Money 3, is now out. So if you want to go take a look at the book, it's all about sort of a raw truth on Black economics in America. So feel free to go check it out. You can check out the whole series at blackAmericanMoney.com. That's blackAmericanMoney.com. Hit the thumbs up button. Please hit that thumbs up button. If you haven't done that, please hit that thumbs up button. Okay, so the NCAA, billions of dollars. They made $1.3 billion last year. Y'all know when you watch the games, most of the time the best players on the court are Black. So what this is this is a massive, massive, massive amount of wealth being taken from the Black community every year. How are you going to close a wealth gap when your wealth is being taken from you? It's like if we're running and I'm trying to close the gap and catch up with you, but yet you put a 50-pound monkey on my back. Do you really think I'm going to be able to close that gap when I got a 50-pound monkey on my back and you have nothing? Do you think that I can close that gap if somebody is draining energy out of my body as I'm trying to run against you? You're already running fast. I'm trying to catch up. And yet at the same time, you're draining energy out of my body as I run. You're not going to close a gap if you keep giving all your wealth away. Our athletes and our entertainers, that's one of the greatest economic resources to come out of the Black community. We have the best athletes in the world. That's worth $1 trillion or more, right? We have the best entertainers in the world. We invented hip hop. Hip hop has probably earned well over $1 trillion since its inception. Y'all gave that away. We give that away. Doctrine of unequal exchange, because we don't understand economics. We don't understand ownership. Some people get it. Ice Cube gets it. Ice Cube has a sports league because Ice Cube sees the tremendous value in our athletes, right? Ice Cube's making movies, right? He sees that value. T.I. and Charlemagne see that value as members of the entertainment industry. That's why they're talking about Black ownership, right? And I think you should support that. I'm not going to tell you what to do because I don't do that, but I support it not because I care if it's connected to Trump or Obama. I don't care about any of that. All I care about is, are Black people going to own some things and be able to get some things done and create some jobs for Black people, in the community. If we can't do that, then I mean, what's the point? Like, what are we doing? What are we talking about? What does it mean to be woke? If you broke, if you woke and you broke, then you're gonna be a joke. So just understand that. So you got to be financially woke. Wake up, Black people. Wake up to the exploitation. Moving on. So the reason players cannot go pro out of high school the way Kobe did, the way Garnett did, and a few other guys did, LeBron, is because the NBA made a collective bargaining agreement back in 2006, and as part of that agreement, they forced college players to take a year out of high school before they can go pro. That's why you see guys like Zion Williamson literally wasting time sitting around in college when Zion Williamson should be making money in the NBA. Zion Williamson is a guy who, when they put him on TV, some white man is making, tens of millions of dollars. Zion Williamson is a guy that is worth that helps Duke University rake in their $30 million a year off their basketball program. So the NCAA, I don't know if the NBA made this rule to support college basketball, because ultimately, if the player doesn't go pro, he has to go play a year in college, and that benefits the NBA because they got the players that they're a little more developed, they're a little more marketed. They also have pressure off the current players where you don't have to worry about some young stud coming in and taking your position, right? So everybody kind of benefits from screwing over these young guys and their families, right? The NBA benefits, the NCAA benefits, and the current players benefit. So a little bit like the abortion debate, right? No, I'm not telling you what to think about the abortion debate. I don't care if you're pro-life or pro-choice, but you think about this. When we vote on abortion, the people voting are people who are already alive, right? The people who are not living yet don't get a vote. I'm sure, my mama, when she was pregnant with me at the age of 16, people told her, you need to abort that baby because he don't matter. If I'd had a vote, I'd have been like, hey, wait a minute, no, hold, let's think this stuff through real quick. Let's not get too hasty. I might have something to say about that, right? But nobody cared what my vote was because I wasn't alive yet. I wasn't in the world, right? But the same thing happens with the NBA and in the NFL and these collective bargaining agreements. When they're deciding what to do about the next college prospect that's going to come up or the next high school prospect, most of the people voting, everybody voting, is already in the league or making money in the league, right? The player themselves, the young guy doesn't get a vote. The young guys who are affected by these rules, these collective bargaining agreements, are still in the 8th grade or whatever, right? So when this rule was made in 2006, the people affected by the rule who will be restricted from coming into the NBA were guys like R.J. Hampton, who I'm speaking about today, who didn't have a vote, who weren't old enough to even know what was going on, right? So they got these rules in place which inexplicably keep these athletes, out of the league longer than they should be. The NFL does the same thing. That's why Maurice Clarett at Ohio State years ago. Anybody, I don't know if anybody remembers Maurice Clarett. He was an extraordinarily good running back for Ohio State, best talent they'd had in probably 40 years. Maurice was forced to play at Ohio State and to make a lot of money for Ohio State, and he was ultimately screwed by Ohio State. Ohio State ruined his entire career, but then Maurice also made some bad choices as a result of his frustration, I believe. So the thing is, at the end of the day, there's no reason for these rules other than money. People say, "Oh, we're doing it for this reason, that reason, blah 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 blah." But that's just them justifying their bullshit. But that's what you do. You don't say, "Well, the reason we're going to screw over the black males because we can make so much money, we can make a killing from doing this to them or putting them in this special box." But instead, what they'll do is they'll claim that these rules are designed for the benefit of the athlete. And so again, as a college professor, that's the second area where I've really observed this system up close. I can tell you that it's nonsense. It's absolute nonsense to say that, well, we force them to go to college because we want them to get an education. That's not true. They can get an education elsewhere. If they're making $10 million a year, they can hire a private tutor if they want to be educated. If they're making $10 million a year, they can afford tuition to go to school in the summertime, so they can learn learn whatever the biology or whatever the crap is they teach you in college. They charge you $40,000 a year to get, right? So all of this nonsense about, oh, we're doing this for the benefit of the athlete, that's bullshit, because if they were doing things to the benefit of the athlete, they would share some of that money. There's very few things black people in America need more than money. Seriously, there's very few things. I mean, really, don't tell me, I'm a young guy, I got a mama in the projects and siblings that are running, that have to run the streets and dodge gang territories on their way to school. I don't really want your paternalistic support. I don't want white people telling me that I'm going to be better off because I get to sit in your damn economics class. That's wonderful. That's great. But you know what? Right now, I need some real economics, not theoretical economics. And because that real economics is what's going to help me change my life and affect the people that I care about. That's what matters. So at the end of the day, I saw, this academic illusion constantly played out. For years as a college professor, where they would pretend like they're helping these athletes by giving them an education. And I value education more than anybody. But, the thing is, college athletes can't really get a real education, in my experience. I saw lots of guys pressured from the minute they walked in the door at the institution, pressured to change their major so it could fit their basketball schedule. And I remember having an argument with one of the coaches when I was at Syracuse, and I said, why do you have this football player missing 2 weeks of my class so he can get ready for, last week you called me and told me he couldn't come to class because he had a big game, in Utah. Now this week you're telling me y'all got another game coming up and I miss another week of class. Number one, he should be emailing me, not you. You're not his damn representative. Like, what the hell? Number two, do you understand? You're setting him up to fail. He's going to fail my class because the class I was teaching at the time was a very difficult class. And I said, students who come to class every day are have a hard time passing. He ain't going to pass if you keep pulling him out of class like that. So you know what they did? They withdrew him from my class. They took him out of my class because it was too hard. They put him in some bullshit so he could stay eligible. That's what they do. That's why you got guys coming out of college, can't even damn fucking read. You went to University of Alabama for 4 years and your ass can't spell Alabama. What the fuck was happening when you were there? I know what was happening. You were being handed playbooks this thick to memorize different offensive and defensive schemes so you can win a championship so Nick Saban's ass can walk home with his $1 million a month paycheck. That's what you were doing. That's what was going on when you were in college. That's what was happening. That's what the top priority was. I don't even hate it. I ain't even mad at it. I'm not mad at people trying to win championships. I'm a sports fan too. I ain't mad at people trying to get money. Money is good. Money is nice. It's cool to go get your money. But what is not cool is for you to go in here and tell a lie when you're really pimping these young people and pimping their families and screwing over an entire community to the tune of several $billion every decade that's being taken out of black communities across this country that could be invested in those communities to create jobs for the very same young black men who can't get jobs in the first place. These young black men are in the worst economic position of any group of people in America. There is nobody in America more likely to be unemployed than the black male. There is nobody in America more likely to be incarcerated than the young black male. There's nobody more likely to end up in the morgue than the young black male. So you're telling me that you're going to this community that is being hit harder than anybody else, that's losing more than anybody else, that's got fewer jobs than anybody else, that's got greater poverty than anybody else, and you're coming in and you're extracting $1 billion a year from this group of people? Are you kidding me? Well, I say on behalf of every young brother in this country, fuck all of y'all. Seriously. Fuck you and your stupid ass system, because you know that this is bullshit. You know that this is wrong. What I would say to black people, though, is why are you letting them do this to you? Why are you even entertaining the bullshit? Why are you even entertaining this argument that, oh, well, they're benefiting because they get to go to college and that's going to benefit them and blah, blah, blah. College is great, but when Zion Williamson comes to school, comes to campus, cool. Let him go to college if he wants to, but pay him his money. Pay him his money. You know, what the hell is this nonsense? Like, do you know one time when I was at University of Kentucky, I'll never forget this. I had this really horrible girlfriend in college. I've told y'all about her. Just imagine like the most evil person you've ever seen, who's also ugly. And anyway, so this girlfriend had an aunt who was a basketball coach or something. And I remember that she would ride with her aunt to pick up some of the prospects for the basketball team. And the prospect was in the car, and it was actually a girl. And she said she was hungry. And so this ugly girlfriend that I had reached up and said, here's some Skittles. I got some Skittles. Would you like some Skittles? And her aunt said, no, don't give her Skittles. That's an NCAA violation. And she said, what? It's an NCAA violation for me to give her some Skittles? And that's literally how ridiculous the rules are. That they literally you could lose your eligibility because somebody gave you some Skittles or somebody bought you a bag of groceries. So it's an insane system. It's incredibly unfair. It's racist, it's exploitative, and it's incredibly harmful. It's damaging. It's a violation of basic American civil liberties. It's a violation of workers' rights and on an epic scale. It's an antitrust violation. It's just one of the most exploitative systems in the history of this country. And it's my job as a financial expert to make sure that you understand the depth of the exploitation. Hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up button. If you enjoy the podcast, if this works for you, please hit the thumbs up button. It really helps us a lot. Also, please share this video. I didn't mean to cuss so much, but y'all should know by now that that's just who I am. I can't apologize for that too much. Also, I want to remind you guys, if you want to support intelligent black media throughout the world, please go to intelligentblackpeople.com. That's intelligentblackpeople.com. We would love to have you as a supporter and a patron of the platform. Also, some of you have asked about shirts like this. You guys see me wearing Smart Aleck shirts like this. If you're interested, please feel free to go to Black Wealth Tees, T-E-E-S, blackwealthtees.com. That's blackwealthtees.com. That's where all the t-shirts are that you see me wearing on the podcast. Also, I want to mention Rick Mathis and I, who's a filmmaker in Atlanta. We're doing a film together. Boyce Watkins Films is partnering with his film production company, and we're creating a film for young Black entrepreneurs, and it's called Young Moneymakers. And so, from what I understand, Rick is the URL to learn more about the film and to possibly be a partner in the film is weyoungmoneymakers.com. weyoungmoneymakers.com. So feel free to go check out weyoungmoneymakers.com. I don't think it's up right now, but it's going to be up in the next day or two. If you're watching this on May 30th, if you're watching it after May 30th, it's probably up now. weyoungmoneymakers.com. Yeah, Rick Mathis created Black Friday. He's had some very successful films. He's part of the new Black Hollywood. And I've told you guys that one of the things Black people can do to have a major come up in this century is to study other cultures, like study the Jews and how they built Hollywood. There's a book called How the Jews Invented Hollywood. I think it was written by a Jewish man. It's a very good book. No, it's not anti-Semitic. It's just me telling you to go recognize game. And basically talks about how they built businesses when they were being mistreated by America. When they were excluded, they built their own institutions. They built if they couldn't go to your school, they built a school. If they couldn't join your country club, they built a country club. When they couldn't get jobs and make money in other areas, they created Hollywood, right? And that's why so many of these companies in Hollywood, these major production companies, are connected to the Jewish community because that's their thing. That's their version of what they have with Hollywood is what we have with hip hop. What they have with Hollywood is what we have with hip hop. So what you got to understand is that how you think about business, how you think about ownership is critically important in terms of you knowing how to control any resources that come out of your community. Because if you don't understand how to control it, how to make the right business deals, then you're going to get exploited. So ultimately, the goal at the end of the day is to minimize Black exploitation. It also starts, especially with you, the Black man. Black men can't be running around here just looking for jobs forever. Black men must be bosses. Black men must learn how to build businesses. And actually, in fact, a lot of the curriculum that I put together with Damon Dash, who was the co-founder of Rockefeller Records, is still there at intelligentbossmoves.com. If you want to go check it out, I think the first month is free. So you have 30 days to just look through everything. It's a lot of great content. You can go to intelligentbossmoves.com. Damon and I had really good conversations because there's a balance. You know, he has his Rockefeller experience and I have my PhD, and you put that together and you really get a good blueprint for strong entrepreneurship and bosshood in the Black community. We got to aim to be bosses so we can control our destiny. So that's it. So hit the thumbs up button, guys, before you go. And also don't forget we're on iTunes if you want to download on iTunes. And also as summer comes along, you guys know we have our financial workbooks for children. So feel free to check out our financial workbooks for children. They cover stocks and bonds and money and cash and everything else, all the concepts your children need to understand to be financially intelligent. So feel free to visit financialworkbooks.com. That's financialworkbooks.com. I'm out of here, guys. Have a good day. And to the NCAA, you can go to hell. You guys know that what you're doing is wrong. I don't even need to tell you that it's wrong. Like they know that it's wrong. I think it's up to us to decide that we're going to battle this. So Robert Smith, for example, when he spoke in Morehouse, he spoke of the importance of liberating people. I think a great opportunity for liberation is to liberate the Black community from the exploitation of the NCAA. So that might mean supporting lawsuits against the NCAA to challenge their antitrust violations, right? I know that when they challenged the NCAA on their illegal use of player images for video games, they shut all that shit down. I think EA Sports had to shut down their whole college basketball, college football franchise because they were stealing en masse, like mass theft of the images and the intellectual property, et cetera, of these athletes and stealing their brands and using them without their permission. So, the same way that lawsuit was won, I believe other lawsuits can be won. So I would love it. I think a great project for a guy like a Robert Smith, who just, he probably puked out, $10 million this morning, right? For people like that, put maybe $5 million, $10 million behind a lawsuit against the NCAA to deal with the fact that they're stealing over $1 billion a year from the Black community. I think that would be awesome for him to do. But then again, it's his money, so who am I to tell him what to do with his money? I just want to say that I would support him if he did that. So I'm out of here, guys. Have a good day. Hit the thumbs up button. I'll see you soon. Take care. Peace.